fairly quiet overnight session. Wink, wink. We know what's moving out there, folks. We'll cover it for you. Baba earnings also. C Limited earnings. Shake up at 8:30 with the PPI. Let's see, coming before the CPI. We'll cover that. Derrick Oldensmith from T3 will give us his perspective on the markets. It's Tuesday, pre-market prep. Let's get it started.
Welcome to Benzinga's pre-market prep.
This is a volatile puppy here.
It's all about execution styles and strategies.
All right, good morning, traders and investors. Let's just call the S&P's flat here, 5246. That will change quickly at 8:30 with the PPI number. The bucket's flat here, just above 107. TLT quiet ahead of that big number, really flat at 90.35. Crude still in the $70 handle, and that's good for inflation, down 23 cents at 78.89. Gold in the green up 760 at 23.50.60. So 18 cents at 28,625. And Bitcoin futures up a grand, down a grand. Today they're down $1,430 and $62,000. Right on the kisser. Let's bring in Triple D here, Triple D, and here we are, deja vu all over again.
Yeah, bring AB in here too, obviously. Wow. Memester maniacs running wild here. I thought you could get a pop in the stocks like AMC and some of these other ones when GME got ignited by Roaring Kitty here yesterday. This is not a pop. This is crazy. I cannot believe the move here. Bring up GME. Move is just absolutely insane. I mean, up 115% here right now. And it's off the highs. It hit like $75 or $76 about 20 minutes ago here. So it's coming off a little bit here now. Wow. I can't believe the move here. It's spread into other stocks as well. It's not just AMC and GME. All that high short interest stuff is moving here too. People saying, when do you sell? Like, when do you sell stuff like this? That's a hard question, man. Like, it was obvious like that, with the Roaring Kitty. And, just to ask, a question here too. I cannot believe, this one tweet. Show the tweet again here that ignited all this, AB, because maybe people are just tuning in. Maybe they missed yesterday's show. But literally, Roaring Kitty tweets for the first time in 3 years. We know he was the GameStop, person that got the whole thing ignited. He tweets this one tweet yesterday, which AB is going to show here right now. And that's just kick-started the whole thing again, like to an extreme. GameStop up almost 100% yesterday, up 100% here in the pre-market. Well, that's it. Now, he did tweet a bunch of other memes yesterday, but this was the one that kick-started it right here. Just sitting up in my chair.
So yesterday morning, if you guys missed it, if you weren't watching yesterday's show, if you weren't in the markets yesterday, Sunday night, Roaring Kitty tweeted this, his first social media post in years, got the interest going again. I mean, GameStop popped pre-market. Then it kept going in the morning, and at one point was up over 100%, sold off a little bit. Okay. AMC and GameStop both ended up closing up over 70% yesterday, but obviously the story wasn't done. Now each up over 100% this morning in pre-market trading. Dennis, you and I were kind of kidding before the show that like buying AMC at the open yesterday, which was up, but wasn't, we talked about on the show, it was up 30 cents. It was probably the easiest trade of the year. I'm kicking myself because I didn't even really get in on it at all because I was like, okay. My thought process on it was that I thought people were going to be kind of exhausted by this story by now, that people would be like, okay. But then here's what I failed to realize is that when people see an opportunity to make money on it, they're willing to buy back into the story for a second time. They're not going to say, oh, we've already done this before. I'm bored of the story by now. We don't need to do it. So obviously anyone who bought yesterday in the green now, anyone now who's bought either of these stocks in the past year or 2 years is getting a bailout here.
We are tanking on these stocks right now.
Yeah, I'm pulling my
like
back up.
GameStop just lost $20 right now from the highs. Bring up the charts here. I wonder. We started tanking right at 8 o'clock, Joel, on some of these. I wonder if some people got spooked by the tape. You know, that FINRA tape, because this is all traded on Robinhood overnight, and all these other trades are showing up like that with the stock from $40, $45. You're seeing all these old trades at the tape. I wonder if that didn't just spook a few people, you know, like, because is it coincidental? We just got hammered at 8 o'clock. And all those old trades that we talk about, the retail trades, were hitting the tape from last night. So, you know, where GME was 36, 38, 40, 42. People getting spooked that they just saw that all of a sudden, like, whoa, it's trading down to 45. I better sell, get me out. It just hit 45. I better sell at 60. I didn't just hit 45. Those were old trades. But right now, I'm telling you right now, we just went from $80 like 30 minutes ago to 57. We just collapsed 23 points here on GME. I mean, the moves here are nothing short of absolutely positively incredible. Incredible. I mean, look at the moves just now. Look at what it just did.
And
it just overnight, all night, from 36 up to 85. Kind of, you know, just slowly climb. And then we just, you know, and some of these trades are bad, like the one that hit 45 was an old one. But we're at 58 right now, folks. We just sold off 22 points here.
Oh, wow. Look.
Incredible.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, it looks like we're getting some of those FINRA tapes right now with the chart bouncing around, but we're at 58 bucks
some people.
right now.
It really accelerated at 8 o'clock, and that's right when all those old trades hit some people. Nobody, not one person in the street would be talking about that because nobody understands that except us because we researched it. So I think it spooked some people right now. I think some people saw some crazy low trades, like they would see AMC going off at $6, and they're like, "What's at 10?" I'm like, "I just traded 6. I better sell at 10." What do you think, Joel? You see that the last is changing with those bad trades on everybody's platform. But those are old trades, folks. Those were old ones. But I'm telling you right now, they're coming in. So these are like, you know, it just went really from 80 to 58. So the 45s weren't there. We saw it hit 45 multiple times, GME, because those are the old trades. But I wonder if it spooked some people.
Oh, it definitely could, because you know, that's something we've been talking about for the last couple months. I think you know, I think I'm going to be really consistent in my analysis of what's going on here, and it can start right now. It's not going to be technical or fundamental analysis, though. I'll give you one fundamental analysis thing. Lisa and I went to the movies on Friday, and there weren't that many people in the theater that we were in, but overall, the parking lot was pretty packed. And,
Oh,
you know,
good.
so Lisa put something out, you know, why don't people get out, go to the movies more? So I don't know if that had any, you know, I'm sure they
That
had
ignited the whole movement.
yeah,
It wasn't Roaring Kitty,
and
it
I
was
don't
Lisa.
think Roaring Kitty files it, but I am just going to say one thing. And I had Dennis, you know how we come up with different acronyms and stuff? You know, like analyst chase price, ACP, and, you know, different
Sure.
things. I have a new acronym that I want everyone right now. Stop what you're doing, get out a piece of paper, and write down these 3 letters: PYC. And you know what that stands for? Protect your capital. If you're good at trading these kind of things and you're in and out and you're doing options and you do, you know, you do all these different things, then go at it. But just protect your capital in these kind of markets. It can change. I was on Stocks and Jocks, and it was traded at $74. I'm like, yeah, I can buy it at $74, and it might go to 80, right? And I can make, you know, 6 out. But where, you know, it also could go to 55 or 60.
It just did.
So protect your capital, you know, and
Yeah.
it's, you know, there's some big boys out here traded too. I mean,
This is so
Go
we
ahead,
can
Dennis.
say this is all retail driven, and there's a lot of retail in here, and maybe and definitely 100% ignited by Roaring Kitty. But this algorithmic driven here, Joel. I mean, these things are trading so quickly. The algos are all over this. So the algos see Roaring Kitty tweet for the first time. You know, like when the Zach Morris guy, when he tweets, the stocks instantaneously, you know, would halt up. Well, that's all algos that are on it. It's not retail able to jump in there. It's the algos jumping in there. I mean, the algos are all over Roaring Kitty here now too. And he, you know, I don't know if he's tweeted this morning. He hasn't written anything, like you say. He's just tweeting memes, but it's incredible movement. Incredible that he can move a stock like that. You know, this is just somebody, you know, that was, you know, nobody 2-3 years ago. And then, you know, obviously got the following and the movement and, you know, and the ignited GME. And then he's been off the grid for 3 years. He tweets out one meme yesterday, and the stock pops 200%. Incredible. It's incredible to watch. Like, even if you're not trading this stuff, just sitting back and taking it all in, it shows how much the market really, the fundamentals don't matter at all. I mean, it shows, like, we can say, oh yeah, fundamentals is always, what drives the bus. In the long term, it's probably true. But in the short term, fundamentals don't mean a damn thing. That's what this is showing you here now. I don't know. Like, the movement has moved, so we should cover other stocks here too. So AMC, GME have been kickstarted, but everything with the high short interest, you've got a lot of stocks trading up 10, 15, 20%. Anything with that high short interest, trading higher. I was looking at the stocks that are up, on the day, and I can do it here again. We'll just go through the list. So these are your top gainers, and this covers everything on, this covers everything. So just looking top gainers list, GME is number 1. AMC is number 2. Number 3, SunPower, SPWR. Well, there's a darling from, back from the day. Number 4 is CCLDO. And then you go through, and there's more on this list. A small penny stock, FFIE. I actually did take a small position in that one. Plug Power, PLUG is another one. Cost, the whole thing. Cost up 32%. Double B, BlackBerry's up 21%. Tupperware, TUP up 17%. Beyond Meat up 16%. I have a position in Beyond Meat. I'm trading a little bit of this stuff. It's all small. I'm not, just playing around with the stuff to a certain extent, but there's big moves happening here.
Well, what I was going to say is you do have a couple like other stocks moving with this move that we didn't have the last time this was going around. So Reddit was moving yesterday, which of course, the whole initial short squeeze was kind of started on Reddit, the Wall Street Bets. That's where Roaring Kitty was initially posting his stuff there in 2021. So Reddit got a nice pop yesterday. It closed up 8.7%, up another 3.5% this morning. That's nothing compared to what AMC and GameStop are doing, but it's interesting to see like people, flocking to Reddit too, being like, hey, this is the room where it happened. We should go buy, Reddit here.
Yeah.
So Reddit now trading at $60. And kind of like similar thing. Let me go out from the 5-minute chart to a 1-day chart here on Reddit. If you bought, at like the IPO here on Reddit, you've been underwater this whole time, right? You bought anywhere here. Now you finally get in, basically a bailout here above $60. So Reddit trading higher. Hood, this one makes sense because, people are going to be going to Robinhood to be trading these options, buying GameStop and AMC, as long as Robinhood doesn't, turn off trading on these stocks again. But Hood went up again 4% yesterday, another 4.5% this morning in the pre-market. So interesting, to see a couple like newer stocks moving with these ones this time around. And then, they say history doesn't repeat itself, but it often rhymes. And we've seen
this repeating itself.
Yeah, but I was going to say even specifically with the memes on Twitter and stuff. I mean, if you guys recall, back in 2021, Ryan Cohen at one point tweeted just a picture of an ice cream cone, and it sent GameStop up 100%. And at the time, it had a lot of people, riled up, being like, oh my God, someone tweets a meme and it adds billions of dollars in valuation. Well, now you have that same exact thing happening again. And you did mention it, Dennis, that Roaring Kitty wasn't done with that one post. I might as well, I'll pull up his Twitter again.
Yeah, while you're doing that, I just want to make one comment about Robinhood. And, how many times, and it happened with JP Morgan too, just a few days ago, they had a good report, right? The street liked it, got a little bit overdone, got back over $19. But, this is a strategy, Christian Fromhertz, talks about, maybe not get down and dirty in the stock the day of earnings. Funny things happen. But, if you didn't chase Robinhood on that day, look at that. It came back down to the former support level. Of course, you had no idea that these other things, but the company.
Can you show your charts?
Oh, yeah, sure.
Yeah, I'm done looking at the guy sitting up in the chair.
Well, no, I was going to say, I was going to pull up his Twitter real quick because you mentioned, Dennis, that he wasn't done just with that one.
Yeah, he tweeted a bunch of other.
He posted like all these videos yesterday. And when I was making the, kind of comparing it to the Ryan Cohen ice cream cone, like they're all so cryptic. Like they don't really mean, like it's not clear. Like he's not saying like, oh, everyone go buy GameStop. He's just posting all these memes, but they're all kind of like, you know,
Well, they're being cautious too. He's being cautious too. In all likelihood, and we don't obviously know what Roaring Kitty is doing, but in all likelihood, I'd imagine he has some options, long options. And I imagine he made a lot of money on this. So, if he was just saying potential, not saying this is happening, but regulators were to look at him and say, like, this is, it's like you're trying to pump and dump this stuff, then he's like, I didn't even mention GME. I didn't mention anything. I just put a video like, what's your case?
But couldn't they still say
there's not really a case? I mean, he
still
just tweeted a meme of a person sitting up in the chair and didn't even mention the stock. So I mean, regulators, good luck on that one. If you were thinking it was, and obviously he's probably, and you can put two and two together. He probably profited significantly from tweeting that. But I mean, I don't see, he didn't say anything. Just sitting up. Just shows the power of that guy. Got some power. Congrats to him for having that power, I guess. But that's unbelievable.
Yeah, I mean, I would think if he opened like a new position for the first time in a couple years and then tweeted for the first time in a couple years, like maybe they could have some argument for saying like you were clearly trying to do something. But like you said, I think it'd be it'd be such a gray area where he'd be like, what, I'm not allowed to post a meme on my like personal Twitter account, so it's not like he's in the Reddit message board saying, oh, everyone go buy this, or this is my position.
But that's what he was doing originally. So
Correct.
Originally, that is exactly what he was doing. And he didn't get charged then either. So, I mean, he's got a license to print money here now, this guy. I mean, it's incredible.
I was joking with my friends yesterday. I was like, it must be pretty cool if you're this guy that if you need to like pay off a mortgage or something, you can just buy some options and then tweet and then be done with it. And then if you want to buy a second house, you can just buy some puts and then tweet again and say, hey, my last tweet wasn't referring to GameStop, guys. Like, I have a new stock that I'm looking at, and then GameStop would tank, and you could buy another house. But
it's crazy. The world we're in, it's so much manipulation too that's out there. Like the stock market, and I've been talking about this for a bit too. Like the CNBC penny stock commercials. How is that even like? Why are regulators allowing that? All they do on CNBC, every other commercial, and you've seen it if you're watching, is like, and they got like, all these small little ones like, they're like 20-cent stocks, SPC, NTRB, and they're just pounding them at us. It's just penny stock promotions everywhere. And I mean, long term, these things usually don't work out. But why are regulators just turning a blind eye to like the blatant, penny stock promotion here that's going on, even like CNBC, like it's every commercial. They're just doing, these small stocks like MOB. And some of these stocks actually popped a bit, but then they drop back down. I don't know. I don't know why, it's just, it's gone crazy here. So, that's why I always like trading in the bigger caps, the mega cap stuff, the cool stuff. This penny stock stuff's going to be fun to talk about for today. And, and how long does it last? There's another question people asking, if you're in this stuff, when do you sell? I mean, that who knows? Like the thing could end. The thing might have ended at 8:00 a.m. The thing might, just turn around and ignite again today. Who knows,
Dennis?
It's impossible to call the top on this stuff. Impossible.
I was gonna say too, that might be, you might get some different commercials up in Canada because I don't typically see too many of those. Red Bull saying the same thing, that there's none of those commercials playing on CNBC where I live.
No,
I see it all the time.
All the time.
You know what I saw
It's not
today?
Canadian. We don't have a special CNBC Canadian penny stock promotion that's promoting U.S. stocks, AB. They're not promoting Toronto stocks.
I saw this one this morning.
They're on there all the time.
Maybe
Chat, help me out here. Do you guys see it, chat? Do you guys see it? Maybe somebody else didn't see it.
Maybe I just do a good job of. Maybe I do a good job of just tuning out the commercials.
Yeah, that's good that you can do that.
Yeah, okay.
I would say you don't want to be buying all these like penny stock things. Maybe they go up. Maybe they do. Maybe they work out. But for the most part, those stocks usually might pop a bit with a commercial and then they drop back down. But those commercials, and we got PPI coming. Thanks, Spinner. But those commercials, like are all over CNBC. And it just started like 2 months ago. It just started.
Okay. All right. We do have some other news in the market this morning. We had some earnings coming in. Let's talk some Alibaba real quick. So Baba, which closed up yesterday more than 5%. It looked like as investors were like, I don't think that was really getting meme stock love. I think it was more investors were taking bullish positions ahead of the company's earnings report this morning. But Alibaba reported EPS of $1.40, sales of $30.7 billion. Profits went down like 80% year over year or something. So stock getting crushed this morning, basically giving up all those gains from yesterday. Again, closed up 5.7% yesterday, now down 4.5% this morning. Traded right around $80. So I don't know if we've got some support down there, Joel. I'll let you give me the technical.
Wait, did you say the profits plunged 80%?
It was. Let me find the exact number.
Yeah, I saw it too. I think there
that
must have
doesn't-
been some one-time crap in there or something. Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
Adjusted. So there's two numbers here.
Ugh.
Yeah, of course. There's some, an adjusted. There's $1.40 that they made, and then there's, unless they maybe had a one-time fees the other time. But this is what media does. They grab that. And again, it's hard. These Chinese companies report different numbers. They don't use GAAP accounting. It's all, it's all tougher to figure out. But
net income attributable to ordinary shareholders came in at 3.3 billion yuan, down 86% year on year. So yeah, there had to be some like one-time costs here that they were that they got hit on in this quarter because there's no way their business slowed down 86% year over year. Baba, this stock was below $70 a couple weeks ago, so it's still up, pretty good in a couple weeks. But I think what people were very excited about this earnings report, and then like we've been talking about, we sound like a broken record. But when the expectations are high this cycle, it doesn't matter if you're a Chinese company or American company.
Ran into the report big time.
Yeah,
we run and run and run.
Yeah.
So you think about them in the gutter, but this stock is up like 25% into the report. Just from where it was 3 weeks ago. So it's been a big move. I still am excited for Baidu. I'm long Baidu. Baidu reports Thursday. Let's see what happens. I even bought some options on Baidu. This is going to knock Baidu down a little bit, the sympathy play. But go, Joel. Give us technicals.
No, because we talked about this earlier when it got the pop, and this is kind of like a reset. This is kind of like if you looked at JP Morgan. This is not a great report, so it's hard to interpret. But what I said is, can we get a bid here at $80? There has to be a point, and it's hard with these stocks that trade overnight. You miss a lot of the moves, so the gaps aren't really as valid. But to me, if you miss this thing, if you miss the move up from under 70 to 85. That's a little reset here. You traded under 80 in the pre-market trading. That's what I'd be looking at. If you could hold in here today, maybe close 80 and a quarter, 80 and a half or something like that. And then a couple more bids in this area. I think there'll be people looking at the stock saying, I think a major bottom's in here. I'm using a nice round number like 80, but we have not been able, look how many times we popped over 70, but over to 75, but never really established that bid, then you kind of got a bid away from it. So that's why for you Baba holders, look to see if you can get some, more than just 1 or 2, 3, 4 day lows in that $80 area.
Yeah, and Baba hasn't been like, crazy, it hasn't been like, oh, buy at 70, it's going to go up to, 75, 80, 85 in like one day. I think what I've been doing is more just kind of like slowly building a position down here and waiting for like,
nice,
over time. I don't think, for whatever reason, Baba used to move very, I've noticed that with a few other stocks. And I wonder what you guys think about that like, is it just because they're bigger now that like Tesla doesn't have the crazy moves that it used to? Like Tesla, I feel like used to always be, up or down 10% in any given week. And it hasn't really moved like that, hasn't been that volatile.
I can tell you 100% what it is, AB. And
what is it?
Because I do S&P arbitrage. As soon as I went to the S&P 500, it thickens up. Okay. So it thickens it up. So when they put Tesla in, 2 years ago, that thickens it right up. So sometimes if I'm doing the S&P arbitrage after hours, I'm actually have to buy Tesla because it's part of it. So I'm like natural liquidity, and I don't even like trading Tesla because it's wild, but it calms it right down. Now Tesla's a headline stock and it can still move, and it still has some pretty vicious moves. But as soon as they go into the S&P 500, it thickens up. There's so many ETFs, so many traders that trade the futures versus the stocks, the high frequency traders, that just kills volatility when it goes in there. So that is your reason why you don't see these crazy 10% moves every day in Tesla here. And you know what? It's maybe found its home to a certain extent too. And again, off an earnings report or something like that, things can move. But it's hard to get those big random, violent swings up and down like GameStop is seeing or AMC is seeing. When they're in the S&P 500, it really thickens them up.
That makes sense. I figured it was something like to do with just the fact that once it got
Index inclusion.
big enough that and all that stuff. But I mean, yeah, you still see it is crazy. I think that like even in the mega cap tech stocks, like you will see some crazy moves still where say like an Nvidia goes up 20% in a week and not even off like an earnings report or something. And it's like, how you can't really make an argument that the market is that efficient if a company's adding, say $100 billion in valuation in one day, or in I guess today's case, if you have a company adding, $10 billion in valuation off a meme, there's always going to be these inefficiencies in the market, but that's what creates trading opportunities.
So I think we should move away. We got 2 minutes before we're going to get PPI here, and it's going to be market moving. I probably will back up. I mean, the market, let's take it back to the S&P. We haven't talked to S&P today. It's been very quiet.
Yes,
it gets very quiet when this meme stock stuff's happening because there's no interest. It's like all the interest. Our whole first 20 minutes of our show is talking meme stocks. We never talk meme stocks. We talk meme stocks once every 6 months when the gets kickstarted.
It hasn't even been 6 months.
Maybe it's been over a year since we've really focused on these stocks. It's been a long time they've been in the gutter. But I mean, the S&Ps are going to move off this. We're going to have some movement here right now. If this is a hot number, Katie bar the door, that could put an end to meme mania in a hurry. So this number is very, very important here today. Get a light number. Maybe this kickstarts everything. Like memes, just take, what meme mania is altogether. It's speculation. So, I mean, if you get, a number that's light, it could make, speculative stuff more speculative here too. So it's going to be very interesting. I think even for meme mania, this number here is important. And then tomorrow is a big one, Joel?
Yeah, the CPI, they flipped it on us. They're doing the PPI.
Yeah, they're doing PPI first and then CPI. So obviously tomorrow is going to be nuts. Today we're going to get movement though. So I'm going to go to the back and I'll be back.
Yeah,
if it's
so
not
the
crazy,
expectation,
but I think we're going to move.
The expectations are for the PPI to come in for April at 0.3%. It was previously 0.2%. The core PPI is expected to stay at 0.2%. So again, we're looking for 0.3 and 0.2 here on the PPI. It should be coming here in about 30 seconds. And then again, tomorrow, CPI. CPI is actually expected to go up to 0.4% from 0.3, but CPI year over year is expected to fall down. We'll preview that again tomorrow morning, though. Let's see.
We got blue. We got blue coming on tomorrow. The algo jumpers, they might have switched their algos. Looks a little hot. Looks a little hot, real hot. We just took out the double bottom from the last two lows. They're not liking what they're seeing off the initial print here, folks. We pounded 52.1675. No knee-jerk reaction up, but a reaction down here. We're through the parallels.
All right, we had PPI coming in. We had PPI coming in at 0.5% versus 0.3%. So came in hot. That's for April. Core PPI came in also at 0.5% versus 0.2% estimated. So both numbers coming in hot this morning on the PPI. We'll see if we get I'm waiting for the year-over-year numbers and whatnot. But I mean, if you're bullish here, I mean that can't be great news for you that inflation is still showing signs of ticking higher, not just kind of stagnating, but really potentially coming back up here. So we'll talk to Blue about it tomorrow. But again, I'm not thrilled about seeing these hot inflation numbers.
Well, a couple things here, right? Besides it being a little hotter than expected, you probably could go to the fast market and the Fed funds, when are rates coming? This doesn't, we've been trying to tell you folks, lower interest rates are just not going to happen instantaneously here.
No.
This is another indication, a small indication. I mean, 0.5 versus 0.3. Not what you want to see, but you also got to think about how much it's come down, right? and how it has to maybe pause or go up a little bit. The thing to me that makes me look at this number with just like, well, it's not that bad, is because who knows? They might have taken this when crude oil was at, $90. I mean, on different components. I know how it figures in, but you know, what if you took this reading again right now with crude at $79? So there was a little. I don't think this is like the determinative number. To I have been saying steadily that I don't think rates are going anywhere. This is an indication that maybe the pause is gonna be a little bit longer, or if they go higher, we know what's going to happen to the market. The TLT's reacting. You see that got hit too. So this is just saying that we haven't kicked inflation's butt yet. And also just keep an eye on too, because I was looking at this like later in the day. You got Fed Cook at 9:10 a.m. Speaking, and then you know who's coming on at 10 a.m.
Powell.
Pumping Powell. So I'm sure he's going to have some commentary on these numbers, but I mean, I think if you're a bull, I don't think this necessarily has to send you heading for the hills. And if you're a bear, well, then you want this thing to go down and stay down, and it didn't.
And I think it might, I mean, bringing it back to, I guess, the main conversation of the day or what we started with, it's kind of hard to argue that fiscal policy is too tight when you have these meme stocks running 100% in a day based off a meme. I mean, a lot of people were like, oh, this squeeze back in 2021 could only happen with, 0% interest rates and low interest rates. Well, now we're seeing that that's not true. So maybe, I don't know if Powell is really watching GameStop and AMC, but I can't imagine that he's looking at that thinking, oh God, I got to get out there and cut rates, because what does that do to this stuff? What does that do to those crazy moves? It probably makes it even, that much more violent, that, brings even some extra volatility into the market. So, I mean, this is not great news for if you're hoping for rate cuts. And we've talked about it, which sectors need those rate cuts and not. It's the, retail banks, it's the solar companies, it's the clean energy companies, it's, the Nvidias, the Apples, those ones will be fine.
Mm-hmm.
Jay Rice pointing out that GameStop and AMC actually went up on the PPI. I mean, there's also, definitely some dip buying activity there right now in those stocks pre-market.
Okay. Well, we've seen a scenario like this several times in the market where there's been a knee-jerk reaction to the downside. Once again, if you're selling in the hole, you're scratching your head, right? You're saying, "Oh man, what am I going to do now?" If you bought, you had to be out there. You just have to be out there. And if you wanted to buy it at 52.20 and you got hit at 52.20 and it kept on going to 52.10, that's what happens. You got to be out there. You got to be active with the orders. For right now, the street is the way I'm looking at it. Street was at the high. We were leaning at the pre-market highs. Like everyone was being old bullish running into the number. So they got slammed a little bit, probably hit some stops. But what I'm still looking at here, and of course, a lot can happen in the next 15, 20 minutes or in the next hour before we open. We had a pair of lows in the market from Friday and Monday, right closely where we're at right now, 52.33, if you want to mark that number. So it was taken out, but it's the onus on the bulls to keep us bid in that area. And now, after falling so far, you got to start to think about, unchanged on the session. And your unchanged is important too, because you had two closes in the same area. So the market was digesting the information yesterday. Information, not exactly what we wanted. Knee jerk reaction down. But what are we seeing? Same scenario that we've been seeing for a long time, and the dip was bought. And so we'll be moving on. I know we got Derrick coming on here. Derrick Oldensmith is going to join us from T3 here momentarily to talk about what he's looking, if he's a meme stock trader. Any more commentary here after that surprising jump in the PPI? 0.5 versus 0.3.
It is interesting with Spinner's point is like S&Ps get hit, all that stuff gets hit. Well, I don't care about Mania, don't care about that at all. GME and AMC both actually did go a little bit up on this news. So, and you're seeing other ones here too hold up very, very well. So Mania looks like it wants to continue here, folks, this morning, despite the little bit of a hot PPI number here, but a lot of other things getting hit.
Yeah, if you can, if you can, program the PPI number, and how
To
that
Mania.
affects, Mania, then go right ahead.
All right. Well, while we're waiting for Derrick, let's go to some other earnings. We did have Home Depot report earnings this morning as well. So, Home Depot came in, EPS came in at $3.63, beat the $3.59 estimate. Sales came in at 36.42 billion, missed the $36.67 billion estimate. Home Depot did reiterate its full year or its fiscal year 2024 outlook, GAAP EPS of $15.26. That was kind of like in line with the range, so not huge move off the guidance that they announced, and the conference call is expected to start here at 9 a.m. But Home Depot pretty quiet this morning after that report, down $1.50, about 0.5%. But again, not really a crazy move on either side for Home Depot here.
Dip getting bought heavy. S&Ps look like they want to try to go green here.
I
So,
know.
I don't want to get picked off. I got to move orders here again. Home Depot's a tough one because stock coming down hard all through April, and then you lift up ahead of the report into May. So what's it, high expectations, high or not high? Hard to even get a feel for that one.
Yes,
I'd just say overall, trend not your friend here. The uptrend that we had from October clearly broken. Question is, until I would say my case would be if this thing get above 350, it gets interesting. As long as it's below 350, shorts are in control here.
I looked at that one earlier and looked at that resistance. I actually talked about that one on stock. That's a pretty good number there at 350. That's what the Bears are defending here. The Bulls got to make a move here at 340. You've had 5 lows, 6 lows in the really for the whole month of May. You were working on a green candle for the month of May. I don't know if what do you got to do here? Last month's close is 334.22, so still a bullish month here. I just for Home Depot shareholders, you want to see reestablish a 340 bid here, and for sure, it just looks kind of thick because you had a big decline. That was not much of a bounce from 330 to 350, especially compared. This is a pretty big component of the S&Ps, considering how close the S&Ps got back to all-time high. This one, not even close.
Let's keep the earnings train ticking. We did have of course, the Swiss sneaker maker reported earnings this morning as part. We're getting some of these retail earnings coming in this week. And Jay Rice also pointed out in the chat that we've had a couple shoe companies report good earnings this quarter, Crocs as well, but on reported EPS of 38 cents, which beat the 14-cent estimate. Sales came in at 581 million, beat the 497 million outlook. So very strong report, beat the expectations by a lot. And the stock's trading up about 10% this morning. $33 here. I mean, you had to go back to August 2023, last time we saw on at these levels. Still well off its all-time high of around $56 but that was November 2021 when the growth stocks kind of topped out there. November 2021 is when ARK and Bitcoin, initially had their spike back there and didn't get back there. Some of those names have never gotten back to those highs. So either way, if you're in on, this is a great move for you and a great report, really.
Big old spike. Yeah. 35.97. I'll do a reset here. I know that there's a couple daily, if you're paying attention to your daily charts, you got done right there at 35.90 because there was a couple highs right in that area. There's that one pesky high at 35. That's $1.50 away. This stock historically has had a lot of these good reports, and then it fails a lot and then comes back down to, under 30. maybe this is the time where it catches a sustained bid. But right now, a buck off, $2 off the pre-market high, recent high of the move right there at 36, and only one daily high at 35 to keep an eye on.
Let's do. I mean, should we go check back in and see what our what the meme stocks are doing? It looks like GameStop and AMC are kind of just hanging out right here after they got that pop we mentioned after the PPI number came out at 8:30. See, the SPY is
We're almost back to unchanged.
wow. I mean, what could be the bullish argument here for that? Inflation is showing, is still showing signs of heating back
They
up.
come in and they bought the dip, man. Mania is running wild here. They're not letting stocks fall here right now. And again, Mania has nothing really to do with the S&P, but there's just excessive speculation out here right now. This is like when Mania starts, it's the excessive speculation is running rampant. And we know, Joel, we've talked about this before too, is a lot of times Mania comes in for a few days and then all of a sudden, we're at a market top. We've seen that before too. I'm not saying that's going to happen. Let's see what happens with the CPI tomorrow. But so far, this PPI number was not great. They bought that dip hard, man. They're like, no, money managers are like, no, we need stocks. It's not that money managers, it's not like they're even speculating. They don't want, they need stocks. These money managers that had a lot of cash, every pullback you get, I got to get that cash to work. I got to get that cash to work. I'm going to lose my job. So that's where we're at. Is there's just so many money managers that have too much cash. I'm one of them too. I've got a lot of cash sitting on the sidelines. And, Mania here is just, igniting all speculation. And PPI, who cares? PPI, we're buying stocks. That's what the market's meant.
And I remember back when, we had the initial spike back in 2021 on GameStop and AMC. There were days where there was definitely, a negative correlation between what was going on, when like GameStop was up 300% in a day and the S&P was like trading down. And maybe it was just because, like you said, Dennis, people just weren't paying attention to other stocks or not. But I wonder if this continues throughout the week, what the reaction is going to be in the overall market from all this attention going straight into these meme stocks. I mean, how is the IWM green right now? I still don't really understand what this move is after the PPI. It's hard to.
What did it do? It dropped hard and then they just ripped it higher here. So again, you would think logically. We got trashed for a 0.1% number that was a little hot by 0.1% last month. Now we're like 0.2%. Its numbers appears to be getting worse, and they buy it. I mean, IWM, one thing it has going for it is it's got, wow, that's such a move. I'm just looking at that move, from 206. It hit
that was quick, Dennis. There was a lot of times when
they literally hammered that down $3 and just bought it all the way back up.
They never gave you
we're green on the S&P, folks. This is incredible. Incredible to shrug this number off. I would not have had this on my bingo card that they were going to shrug a hot PPI number off. They shrugged it off, like you were saying, Joel, in less than 5 minutes.
5 minutes. Let's go to the cash isn't open, but let's go the IWM here. Boom. Now there's some funk. Oh, I don't know. That's not a great print. Let's go to the SPY. That's a little bit there you go. You had the dip and just right back up down only 30 cents. It's like nothing happened. But you know what's good on a day like this? You had like almost an inside day. You got matching ranges. I think the high of the week was made on Friday. You kissed that on Monday. So you know what you got to get through on the upside here. Or if you're shorting the market here, you think bad CPI, you got about 24 handles of risk to the recent high of the move. And now the pair of lows from Friday and Monday. I mean, we went to 1675 for like a nanosecond, but now you're scratching your head and say, man, do I got to get back out there in the 5230 handle? And also a double close area right in the same area. So keeping an eye on that. We're moving right along here. What we have any more earnings stocks? Not really.
It's not earnings, Joel. We might
Okay.
as well just move completely away from earnings. They're igniting everything now. Like Plug Power is starting to go here now. Space is starting to go here now. Plug's up 50% here now. Is there news on that? Probably not. Is there even a headline? Probably not. They're spreading this. It's spreading here, folks. I don't see any real headline. Receives, oh, maybe there was a headline. Receives $1.66 billion conditional commitment loan. So Plug did have some news here. So Plug's moving, but I'm just looking like where I was looking at the leaderboard, AMC and GME. There's so many other ones popping up here now. Like if I go to my gainers board here, Sun Power is now taking the lead here, Joel. It's up 160% here. So it's your new meme stock of the morning here. So AMC, GME, Plug Power is up there now. Tupperware, remember Tupperware was going TP.
Yep.
Base is blasting off now. Double B. We got Big Lots. I have a position in Big Lots going up here now. Beyond Meat is still up there. I have a position in Beyond Meat. I mean, Fubo. I have a position in Fubo. So I do have a position in a few of these small positions. But wow. I mean, Sun Power. Let's talk the technicals on this one here. It just took the lead from absolute piss to bliss here overnight. $2.75 close out. $7.34.
I'll let AB do the technicals on that one.
There's no headline here, folks. This is all meme stock mania coming back here hard right now.
I also Sundial. I haven't heard about this stock in a while, but even Sundial is getting a pop here. Not as much as the other ones, but it's interesting to see. I mean, it's like the same stocks.
What Sundial? I forget.
SNDL.
Yeah, it's
no,
not getting.
I know the symbol. What's the what is that? Solar? I forget what it is.
I think it's like a cannabis.
Who cares?
Is it cannabis or solar or what is it?
Yeah, cannabis. Yeah, I don't even. They do something in cannabis in Canada, and I don't know. I mean, Sundial was one of like the Zach Morris back in the day. I think what we should do is we should go back and watch a show, a pre-market prep from like that time frame in 2021, and just see whatever stocks were moving and we were talking about then are probably going to be the same ones that are moving this week. So, and we're already seeing that. I mean, like you said, a lot of the Blackberries. If only Bed Bath & Beyond could have survived as a company for a few more, another year or so, they'd be getting a huge pop right now and have an opportunity to sell some
Well, we
shares.
talked about that already too, Joel, and called this yesterday. BYON is the company that bought some of the assets from there, and it did pop yesterday.
Oh, yeah.
So I don't know if I want to get
17.5%.
started. I have a small position in BYON. I don't know if that one can go or not. Maybe it's too thick.
One other thing too, and it's impossible to predict with these companies and when they're going to do it, but in all likelihood, there's going to be some offerings coming out, right?
Oh yeah, good call.
Yep.
Oh
yep.
Yeah. Oh yeah, especially for like a company like AMC, I think that's been struggling, and I mean that we've seen AMC do that before. They dump these offering on the shareholders, so. Definitely. I mean, like you said at the beginning of the show, Joel, protect your capital. You have to be cautious here of stuff like that, of offerings happening, or just the stocks. I mean, people getting out, and you don't want to get, what happened last time GameStop went up this much is there was a big crash on the other side, and the majority of people were underwater on it. It wasn't that the majority of people made money. A few people made a lot of money, and a lot of people lost some money. So, I mean, you got to you got to decide where you want to be on this. I think if you're like playing it and, you're having some fun with it, if you understand that it's inherently more risky right now to buy these stocks while they're moving like this, and you want to throw a little position out there today, see what happens. Sure, go ahead. But I wouldn't put like a bunch of capital behind any of these stocks thinking, oh, this has to double again.
There will be a rug pull here, folks, like at some point in time. There already was this morning. I mean, think about the person who bought GME at 80 and then it went to 57, and they're like, oh, my God. So this is not smooth. It's not straight up. Could GME make all-time highs? It could. It's not out of the realm of possibilities, which is insane to think about. Stock was $12, 3 weeks ago. 128 is the all-time high. It's not insane to think that it could, but it also could go right back to like 30. So, I mean, this is high risk. Nothing's more high risk. You're playing at the penny slots, the highest risk you can really play here. It may work out, and you know what? Some of these things are working out here for a day or two, but there's so many bag holders in here. Bag holders will be coming in and selling some of these other names as well. I mean, SunPower has just been an absolute epic disaster for everybody who has invested in it. And all of a sudden, you bail out everybody who bought this stock in the last 6 months in one pre-market. So it's up 148%. But this is a good point they're making. The short interest is high on this stock, and these are the stocks. It's what we said on yesterday's show. If you rewind the tape, don't be short any stocks with high short interest right now.
Yeah,
So we said
yep.
yesterday morning we were
Yes.
warning about this, because when this stock starts spreading, they go after the high short interest names. That's why Beyond Meat. And I have a small position in Beyond Meat, but that's why a stock like that is up 17%. It's not fundamentals this morning here, folks. They got a higher short interest, and they're starting to go after those names. Novavax. Novavax had the thing, but it was up, and trading up yesterday too. Not up right now. Interesting enough, it's not up right now, but a lot of the other ones are. So even if you go highshortinterest.com, that's one where I go, because a lot of retail traders go there. There's a whole pile of them listed there. I don't know how up to date their information is, but I know a lot of retail traders do go there. So that's one that any stock on that list could be susceptible to something like this. So some of them are up, some of them are not. Spaces on the list there. There's a few stocks that are on that list. That we follow, and obviously there's like 60 stocks on that list. But there is some movers here from high short interest names.
Yeah, and if you're we are unchanged in the S&P here with like nothing ever happened, right? We did
Nothing
a
ever
round
happened,
tripper and we're
Yeah.
back flat on the session. Another way to play this, and it's not as sexy, and I'm sure a lot of people are looking at the options markets and things and just look what you're buying now. You're like, if you're thinking, wow, the 85 calls are cheap. Well, they're cheap. Well, I bet you they're not even that. They're probably really pumping the premiums
Oh
in.
gosh.
Yeah, I bet
And
you
again, they're not open right now, but
Whew.
they're going to be crazy. The premium on some of these things here too. Some of the option premiums will be insane, folks. So it's hard to enter here now. Like, it's hard to say, like yesterday morning when we talked and we saw even like a stock like AMC could go, they hadn't really gone yet. They're up 7-8%. Now they're up 100%. Now it's like, well, now you have real losses you're facing if the rug pull comes. So, maybe you go chat, look which ones haven't gone yet. I mean, that's what you want to kind of look at. But again, when the rug pulls from GME, they pull a rug from all this stuff. Some of the ones that didn't even go, they could go lower. So you just got to be really careful trading this stuff. But if you're entering now, like GME entering now, it was $20 yesterday. It's $70 today. So it could go to 130. It could. But it could easily go cut in half on you too, just like that. So it's really hard to chase this stuff. Nobody knows when the party ends. Harlan Pine always said it best: sell your peanuts while the circus is in town. Well, you know what? The circus is in town. The elephants are standing on the balls and juggling here. The clown show's over there. Everything. If there was a time to sell peanuts, it's right
now. Let's go long peanuts.
Did we mention that AMC? Did we mention that AMC did do an offering?
I saw that. Was it a big one?
AMC Entertainment raises $250 million through equity offering. It was an at the money offering at an average price of $3.45 a share. And so obviously, like we were talking about, we might see some offerings in here. Watch out. But the market doesn't care about that because they did the offering at $3.45 and now it's at $11.60.
This was an old one. So this was already disclosed that they were going to do this, I believe, back on March 28th.
You're right.
So this is an old one. So
okay,
they sold the lows on their stock. That was not a good price. They better do another one. Get out there. Adam Aaron, get out there. You better print some more. They're probably going to do another one here. So they know they want money. They're probably going to do another one here. So that ends these things too. Now again, do they get their stuff together to get it out there tonight? It's probably not going to happen intraday. Can they pull it off tonight or the next night? They got some legal stuff to do here. But don't kid yourself. There's probably more offerings coming here for a lot of these stocks.
All right.
They're selling the peanuts while the circus is in town too.
Yeah. What's a little bit I'm looking at some of the big boys here. Do we have some news on Nvidia here? We have Nvidia. We think people are selling their Nvidia to buy GME here. That's traded down $5. I see Broadcom little asset allocation here. I see that trading in the red. There's been some Google talk too. Google being attacked on AI by Apple. How about this post earnings move in Apple? Once again, it doesn't even look like it's coming close to filling that gap. But nice move in that, making a new high of the move yesterday. Apple getting back into the AI talk. They're catching on here.
I mean, that's what it is. Now they're being thought of as an AI play, and it turned Google around. It's starting to turn Apple around. The chart does look pretty good. We talked about this chart yesterday, starting to look better here. I mean, that's the good news. But, is this going to be the day that Apple goes? I don't think so. This is meme stock day.
Nope.
I don't even think they're looking at the mega caps. And I think
Nope.
what you started with, the point you were making, was probably some good companies get sold off into this for the simple reason is that they're going after meme stock. Sells me some of my NVIDIA. I was really doing well on that one. I want to go buy GME. I mean, that's happening a little bit here today, folks. Not by a ton of people, and it would be not prudent to do that. So maybe the prudent thing is to take some profits on some of these meme stocks. And if you get a pullback on some of these names that are real, that are making a lot of money, that are trading at reasonable valuations, maybe you do that. So I think that's the prudent thing to do.
People don't want to hear about that.
Now they want to hear GME to
1,000.
That's what they want to hear. The moon. We're going to the moon. That's what they want to hear.
You know what? Just an interesting point here from Gabe Fave. Is it possibly the same memesters that jumped onto NVIDIA, SMCI? You know what? A lot of it is algos, man. I wouldn't say it's direct. It's algos. What if you're an algo? Well, algo, no position, no short. Like if I was writing an algo for GME and AMC, the first thing would be never go short. Number one.
Don't ever short those stocks. Why short those stocks? What do you ask?
Yeah. Okay.
Did you not see that movie? Did you not see the billions of dollars lost by Melvin Capital here? Oh, man. Why short those stocks? Why even go there?
Yeah. But you know what I would like to see? I mean, we could do all this talk and I would like to see, we got, a couple thousand people listening to us right now. I would like to see like someone say, you know what? I just paid off my kid's college education. Yep. I know GME might, go higher or whatever, but you know what? I just booked a profit. I just paid for my kid's college education. I just paid off my house. I just bought a new boat that I've been wanting to get for the last couple, years or whatever. Not saying, maybe leave part of the position on, but I think I'd like to see people do something like that in these kind of opportunities. Where to sell these things, I cannot tell you because I do not know.
Nobody can call the top on these things.
Yep, paid off. Geraldine Allen said he paid off his mom's house. If you can think about a Mother's Day gift like that, I mean, something like that. I mean, think about it because we've seen this script before. This script is probably going to be different. We know how long it lasted. How long did it persist in 2021? Now we were in a little bit of a different scenario, right? With COVID and things like that. A lot of those people went back to work. So it's always a different kind of scenario. But, just think about that. Instead of, buying more, and if it goes to 100, you can yell at me and say, I paid off my house, but I wanted to buy a bigger one, something like that. But
we don't know where these things, but Joel's made a good point here. Again, sell your peanuts while the circus is in town. I don't know. They could continue to go higher here. Like people coming in shorting, and there's the other thing is like people are saying, short GME. Yeah, you could, and it could come in, but it could double on you in a hurry here too. I mean, it's just gambling at this point. Like people were saying short GME yesterday at 30. They were tweeting at me yesterday when it was $30 and closed at 30. I'm like, they're like tweeting short the stock. I'm like, well, that might work out a year from now or 6 months from now or a few weeks even from now. But who knows where this thing's going to go? Those people who are short from $30 yesterday are down 123% on their money in one day. I mean, you got to be very, very, very careful shorting this stuff. And the second thing is you getting a locate? You find a locate? Because I don't have a locate on GameStop all of a sudden. I don't have a locate on AMC all of a sudden. Did 2 days ago. Don't have a locate on them now. So locates are tough, like on a lot of these stocks, they're squeezing here too because The brokers are calling them in because, one, they don't want people short these things and people blowing out their accounts. So they call them in. They're like, they're calling these things just because risk. So like SunPower, just all of a sudden explodes 121%. I mean, it's somewhat scary for the brokerages as well. We saw that with AMC, GME back in the day at Robinhood. Like when these things go wild, there's shorts are real, and sometimes, the locates, they got to call this stock in just because, or maybe there's people that want to sell, they got to call them in. But for whatever reason, the locates are now gone on a lot of these stocks. Not that simple to just say short it. Buy puts. You want to pay a ridiculous premium? Ridiculous. It's going to be ridiculous. But,
You know what? I want to throw
tough to
one
make money
other
on
caution
these.
in the wind here before we wrap things up here on this tumultuous Tuesday. Is if you
I like that.
are
A big word.
if you're playing the options in these things, just be aware that Friday is the third Friday of the month, so it's options expiration, and you're going to be paying some big premiums. So if you think that GME is going to $100, okay, I know you'll pay up a little bit more, but at least give it another week, because you're gonna whatever you're gonna do, just know that if it stays still, and I can't say there's anything near of a consolidation period, but if there's a like if this thing sits still for one day, and what I said still means maybe only like a 15 or 20 point range, man, those options are just those premiums are just going to shrink. So it's true that you can limit your loss by what you pay for the option. Just be careful what you're paying for and what your time frame is. Whether it's a phenomena that will last another couple weeks, well then give yourself a couple weeks. But look at it from that perspective. I'm sure the options market makers are going to have a busy day today. But just keep that in mind. It's all, and I'll go back when the show today. PYC. Protect your capital and come back and and trade another day.
Yeah, and again, I mean, like whatever you're doing, I would not want to be stuck short any of these stocks while the
I'd
madness
be
is
really
running.
nervous.
Oh,
Like people
yeah.
saying entering short positions here.
Yeah,
I'm like,
even
I don't even, doesn't even cross my mind.
no, and
It
it
doesn't
shouldn't.
even cross my mind. I never write this down. Learn anything. AB, great point. Never short rocket ships because you don't know how high that damn thing can go. You short them, you kick them, you shoot them when they're down. Once the rocket ship peters out and then it starts going down and starts breaking trend, then you strike. Don't strike when they're flying high. You're going to be, if you're too early, like yesterday, GME looked like, oh yeah, we're going to short this thing. It was a run rocket ship mode. You just got annihilated if you shorted out at $30 yesterday. It's 67 this morning. Don't short rocket ships.
And again, and like to reiterate the point too, I mean, even buying puts at this point, like there's so much extra, paying for extra premium and volatility there. I mean, I'm looking at the $34 puts right now are $10, $1,000 you got to pay to buy 34. And then now you have to have the stock drop, 50%. It's tough right now, I think. So, I mean, if you weren't in this yesterday, I don't know. If you want to, like I said earlier, if you want to kind of have some fun, throw a few bucks around, try to play it. Yeah, sure. But don't put anything, any of the, of your actual capital behind it. But all right. It is 9:04 a.m. We will have Blue Putnam on tomorrow morning to talk about the CPI number. We're going to digest that after today's PPI move, which again didn't really end up, moving the markets like we thought they would, but you've got some other crazy stuff going on. So again, guys, have fun out there today. Try to stay green. Don't do anything stupid, and we'll be back tomorrow morning. Any final thoughts, guys?
Protect your capital. I like what Joel says.
Yeah,
in these cases, like just throwing excessive risk out there and saying buy GME at 67 because it's going to 150. That is called gambling, folks.
All right, guys. Well, we'll be back tomorrow morning at 8 a.m. We will have live trading starting up right now. If you want to keep watching, they will be talking about AMC, GameStop, the rest of the meme stocks here on live trading. So make sure to stay tuned. Smash the like if you haven't already, and we will see you guys tomorrow morning.